Welcome to the Production Expert Podcast. I'm Ashea, and in this edition, I'm joined by Todd Urban. As many of you will already know, Todd is the general manager of Softube, and he is also known for his studio work and his YouTube channel, Urban Sound Studio. Today's topic of conversation is going to be revolving around tattoos, ties, and the art of rock and roll science.
This podcast is sponsored by Educ. If you've ever been disappointed with the way your mixes sound on other playback systems, then check out Educ's Unio monitoring ecosystem. By providing a seamless bridge between loudspeaker and headphone monitoring, Unio allows you to quickly create great-sounding mixes that translate consistently wherever you choose to work. No more guesswork, no more surprises. Just truthful, accurate audio monitoring from stereo to immersive. To find out more, visit genelec.com/unio, spelled UNIO. Your mixes will thank you for it.
You are actually also, among many things, you're an educator, right?
I do educate. I profess to people. I tell them, yeah. I've worked with several schools over the years. Currently, I work at a school in New Jersey in the United States called Passaic County Community College, where I stepped in originally to tweak the curriculum, to modernize it, to see what's working, what's not working. From that, I took a class, meaning I taught one of their classes, just to see where it went. And, well, ever since then, I've been kind of, I don't know, I'm not technically program director, but I'm the person that's head of that part of the school. And so it's me and usually a few other professors coming in, teaching the classes. And yeah, it's great. I mean, it's funny. We get back so much from the students when we teach that we're not even aware of.
Yeah.
For me, the biggest thing is just new trends in music. I'm now old. I'm an old person.
Are you? How old?
I am.
How old are you? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm not yet 50, but I'm very close.
Oh, that's...
And so,
yeah, I mean, it's not terribly old.
No, but my students are 18 to early 20s.
Yeah.
So they come in and they're like, hey, how do I get this sound from, and, whatever artist? And I go, yeah, and I just have to drop the BS filter and be like, I have no clue who that is. I mean, can you, like, I'm thinking in my mind, do I know who this is? No, I have no clue.
Just don't pretend to know who that is.
Yeah, pull up a track, show me. And then it's like, oh, cool. Hey, wait, this production's really good. And then now I'm diving into, hey, who produced this album? And I'm looking it up and I'm like, oh, I don't even know this producer. It's someone, new. That's probably the age of, one of my kids. And so I'm looking at my students for just kind of what are some of these current trends? How are you guys mixing? But what I'm bringing to them is, hey, I know you all have this very fast-paced idea of how you think you want the world to move for you artistically, but you can't go exactly in that direction without understanding the history that came before it. Because all these tools, even Flow Studio, Flow Studio will get you up and running with a great sound. But once you do that for a while, you probably want to dive a little deeper. And this is where it's great that it has the other four knobs and the other modes. We have something called the detail modes where you can see exactly what's going on. There's going to come a point that you want to dive in and say, well, that sounds awesome when I turn that big Omni knob, but what's really going on? That changes everything. So
yeah. And so, I mean, certainly for me, learning, I have to know what's going on, otherwise I go crazy. So learning sound engineering for me was extremely important because you can just tweak EQs and not know what the hell you're doing. But as soon as you learn how to use a basic EQ and why you're doing it as well, then everything just becomes so much easier. So it's like, do you teach, I mean, I assume you teach them the basics before the more complex sort of fast stuff, or is it changing now where they need to know, how to use AI and things like that? Is that becoming a more important thing than perhaps just knowing the basics of audio engineering?
I'm open to having the discussions around AI. I haven't put it in the curriculum yet because it's still so young that by the time I write it into the program, it's going to have changed. So
Right, yeah.
I kind of leave that open-ended, and we discuss it quite frequently. I have a way of teaching that I think is unique, that resonates with me, and I think it resonates with most of the students, which is I try to get them to push everything until it breaks. Until, I'm not talking about the microphone, they do that too, but let's not. But
Yeah, not so great.
But now right. But what I mean by that is, let's take something like phase correlation. Hey, we have 2 microphones on this guitar or on this drum kit. Let's position them until they completely are in the wrong spot.
Okay.
Let's learn where that is. And then let's learn where the right spot might be and everything in between. But I almost start with, let's go too far with everything until it's so bad that we know we have to back up. That includes EQing. That includes compression. Because the students, until you've taken a compressor and over-compressed it, lowered that threshold so that it's just terrible, the attack is just way too short and you're losing all transient material. The release is pumping in a horrible way. Until you push it there and identify, hey, this is what we don't want to do, or we know maybe we want to do it in a creative way in the future, but in general, we don't want to use it this way. I push them toward that, and then I say, okay, now let's back up and see the real intention of this product now that we've learned to break it. And it's a fun way to go about it.
I really like that, and I haven't heard that spoken about much, actually. But I do think it's a really good way of learning, because you essentially hear, because a lot of the time we don't know until we actually hear, oh God, that's definitely wrong, and there aren't actually huge rules in audio unless there is something obviously, sounding terrible or destroying the mix. So I do think that's a really good concept, yeah.
Yeah, and coming back to Flow Studio for a sec, the thing about Flow Studio is when you turn that Omni knob and you're controlling many flow parameters at once, the different flows have been custom curated by engineers and top producers and top artists, so that even at the most extreme settings, things should still sound pretty good. So it's kind of made in a way that, hey, even when you go crazy on this, you're not going to screw things up. It might not be the correct intention, but you could still get a good sound. Mm-hmm. That's not the case when you're dealing with individual plugins. You could completely obliterate a mix in a bad way.
Yeah. So what is it about Flow Studio? What have you done to avoid obliterating the mix then with that? I imagine some magical sort of scientific stuff going on behind the hood there.
Well, there's no AI going on. It's really about design choices and individual parameter limitations. I don't know if that's the official Softube answer, but that's what I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. So an example of that would be, we load a flow, female pop vocals, and I'm pulling this up. I don't know if this is even correct, but I know there's one called that, and I'm assuming that it's opening up somewhere around 7K. So it's opening up a place that we get that kind of top end sheen on a female pop vocal. It's probably high passing it. It might be adding some sort of control to level it. But it's doing it within a parameter limitation that doesn't ever go so extreme that it would sound harsh, right? We're not just going to open up that frequency band to the point of blasting your ears out.
Yeah.
We're not going to compress to the point of losing all dynamic contrast. We're just going to do it at a point of leveling. We're not going to distort or saturate, if there's that within that plugin, to the point that it sounds like a nasty rat distortion was put on. It's going to sound more like a warm tubes distortion.
Yeah.
Or stereo width. We're going to make sure that the width is always collapsible to mono, or never gets so wide that we get a hole in the middle. So that's really what I mean by that, is that there's kind of these, it's constrained in a way that, hey, it allows you to push things, but never so far that it breaks your mix, even when you go to the furthest extreme.
The Production Expert Podcast is made possible using the new Source Nexus suite from Source Elements, the professional way to collaborate over the internet, along with high-definition, low-latency audio and video. Need to record an interview or a podcast, or collaborate with others for songwriting, review and approval, remote editing, and more. With Source Nexus Suite, using any browser, you'll get studio-quality audio and video, along with custom-built tools for seamless integration with your DAW. Pricing starts at free. Get your account today at sourceelements.com.
So that's the rock and roll versus the scientist there. It's like, okay, you do your rock and roll thing, but we're going to just, make sure you don't go overboard.
Yeah. I mean, the rock and roll part is also, we have some flows in there that are just kind of like, ridiculous and over the top, that you load up and you go, I'm not sure when I'm going to use this. It sounds super cool, but obviously someone was here designing it in a way to say, hey, let's just go totally nuts. And
nice. I love that. And I like the idea.
You have to have this.
Definitely. And I like that you can sort of share flows as well. I think that's a really cool concept.
It is. A lot of people don't realize that you could build and customize and save and share. But to me, I think as the product has only been out for a few months, I think as we see the product go on for a few years, that's really going to be the trajectory is, hey, I'm working with this other producer in LA. I'm going to build this flow, shoot it over to them, let them tweak it and play around with it. Mm-hmm. I think that's what we're going to see.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what I think the future of our, industry is heading towards, more collaborative, that sort of intuitive flow state as well, where you can sort of just quickly send over projects and ideas to people remotely. So that's really cool. In terms of AI, because obviously we have to talk about it because it's a really hot topic at the moment, are there any plans, where do you stand and where does Softube stand with that? And are you planning on incorporating AI into your products in the future? Or
I don't think there are any plans to incorporate it in the future. I can tell you that the reason people go to Softube is sound and workflow. You get the sound of the original hardware. You get the workflow of the original hardware, but then also usually with some additional benefits in terms of either having additional control that goes beyond what the hardware could do, or something that helps simplify and speed up the workflow that the original hardware couldn't do. There are companies out there that are doing the AI thing, and they're doing it well. It's not impossible that Softube could go in that direction. It's just not the foundation of the company. Mm-hmm. And at the moment, we're finding that people really like having the ability to make their own choices. Mm-hmm. Right? Flow Studio's not using AI. It gives you some macro control, but it still gives you, the user, the engineer, the producer, the artist, it still gives you the full control to dive in and do what you want and make the final decisions.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's really, that's very valuable. So Todd, do you want to add any more points in terms of Flow Studio and Softube and any future updates before we get into your personal music and stuff?
I mean, there's always going to be updates. If you look at the original Console 1, which we were talking about earlier, the original Console 1 was a channel strip controller for an SSL 4000E channel strip. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a DAW controller. It didn't have multiple channel strips. It didn't have individual plugins it was controlling. It didn't have third-party support. But over the years, we saw it as having killer DAW control. It had the ability to load individual plugins from FabFilter, Plugin Alliance, or Universal Audio, and build your own channel strips and save them and recall them and have all this great control. So we know there's going to be development around Flow Studio. We know there's going to be additional hardware. I mean, I'll say right now that one of the big things that people have been requesting is, hey, we want to see a Softube transport product. And we as a company have come out and said, we hear you. We're going to work on that. But hey, this takes time. I mean, when it's a Softube product, it's not going to be a generic transport controller like you've seen on the market. We always push everything a little further in terms of the industrial design, the layout, making sure it has that Swedish ergonomic layout so that everything feels like it's really in the right place, the button's in the right place, your hand's not accidentally hitting something else. So that's kind of, I think, what's coming up in the future in terms of hardware and development and updates.
How long do you think we'll have to wait, or can you not give us a number on that?
For the transport unit?
Yeah.
Not this year.
Not this year.
Not in 2026.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
It takes time. But but we have. I've been the person that's actually been doing the interviews. So it's this might be interesting to listeners, is that the process. I think a lot of people. I can't speak for every company, but I could speak for Softube. The process for us is never just confined in-house as to what the developers want to do, right? That would be ridiculous. It's always tested. It's always researched. And it's done with customer interviews. It's done with creating a concept of a product and testing that product with people we're interviewing, saying, hey, take a look at this product. Where does your hand go? Where does your eye go? What do you expect to touch first? How would you use it? Does this fit your workflow? And if the answer is no, it's like, well, what are we not doing, right? Before we make this product, what do we need to do to make sure it fits your workflow? And then how does that fit the next many dozen people we tested on?
That's the scientist for you, isn't it? You're getting actual real-world feedback to inform your product. There's no point, like you say, in making a product just because you want to do it, because if it doesn't sell and if it doesn't essentially solve the problem of the consumer and the customer, then you're not doing a great job.
Did you just call me a scientist? Oh, look at that.
I know.
I just got another degree.
To add to your, how many degrees do you have?
I don't know. But yeah, it's funny. It's nice to feel like the least educated person at a company. But it really is amazing everyone from the company comes from so many different backgrounds, whether it's programming or electronic engineering. That's probably not even a title. I don't know. They're going to laugh at me if they hear that. Electrical engineering, but in mechanical engineering. But we have so many people from so many different backgrounds and such great, these science background degrees. That's not me. I'm just the music guy. No,
but exactly. But you need to be there, because without the music guy, that's they wouldn't be well informed of that side of things. So it's a very accurate. It's good to have all of those bases covered.
This podcast is sponsored by Genelec. If you've ever been disappointed with the way your mixes sound on other playback systems, then check out Genelec's Unio monitoring ecosystem. By providing a seamless bridge between loudspeaker and headphone monitoring, Unio allows you to quickly create great-sounding mixes that translate consistently wherever you choose to work. No more guesswork, no more surprises. Just truthful, accurate audio monitoring from stereo to immersive. To find out more, visit genelec.com/Unio, spelled UNIO. Your mixes will thank you for it.
So in terms of urban sound, and I've heard some of your music, which is cool. It's very nice. I particularly like the first one. What was it called? I've got it down here somewhere. Broke, Living Rich.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what's funny about that is that's an artist I was working with named Sir Luminous, and we co-wrote the music. Mm-hmm. This is one of these things with a long document. If I pulled up the spreadsheet if I pulled up the Word doc or whatever, the Google doc that we used, your head would blow with everything from the lyric assessment with colored notes to the side of like, will the listener think that this makes sense? And does this make sense? And today, evaluating everything. How is the vocalist going to sing it? What's funny about this, and you mentioned earlier, is that the artist and I only met a few times in terms of recording this. We recorded everything. I recorded most of the instruments on my own, separate from them. We evaluated if it was going to work. We went back and forth. We would sometimes track again. We did all the vocal takes together at his place in Connecticut. He has a studio there. And but really outside of that, almost everything else was remote. And it took a long time. It was about, I don't know, it was like a 9-month project once we started tracking. So prior to that, the pre-production side, I think, was minimum 3 months of just sitting there writing it out on paper.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow. So that's, dedication for you, isn't it?
But we're super proud of it. And I think the legwork that goes in on the pre-production side is what makes that final product sound the way it does.
And it sounds really good. In fact, all of them sound really good, but that one stood out to me as being particularly cool.
Thanks.
So yeah, is that, and you say you sort of produce a little bit of everything really, but what's your sort of, do you have a favorite genre to produce or?
No.
I
don't.
No.
I'm so all over the place. I work with a lot of Broadway and off-Broadway pre-production where people are pitching shows, and so they will bring an entire show to me, and I need to work with the whole string arrangement. Sometimes because I play some cello and viola and violin and double bass was my main instrument, I'll go in and I'll track all the strings, but I'll use some virtual strings behind it just to give an idea of what the strings are doing. I'll use virtual woodwinds. We'll kind of come up with a basic mix, send that out. That's just super fun. It's a world I've never really been a part of. I'll do a song or an album of just German lieder. I have an album coming out this summer, or maybe it's out already. That's a guy named Gerhard Siegel, who's a great German opera singer. And that was just a blast to sit there with one of the top pianists in the world and one of the top vocalists of German lieder who sings with the Met Opera, and just the three of us are in a room recording this intimate music, but super powerful. I mean, that's rock and roll in a way.
That's so rock and roll.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. I mean, this is about capturing the fidelity of the music, not saturate. It's the opposite of what I'm doing most of the time. This is trying to take the real performance and capture it and deliver it in the most over-the-top way, because in the room it sounds that way. But then the opposite of it is the pop and rock side, where I'm almost over-sculpting everything to beyond what could be done in reality, right? The drum sounds you hear, for instance, that EP with Sir Luminous that we're talking about, those are all real drum sounds. I had a great drummer named Nick Deakins, who actually used to be a student of mine, play on it, and he killed it. He sounds amazing, but yeah, it's enhanced with some samples and some processing, and it's beyond what a person can do in real life.
Yeah, it's a really good topic that it's sort of this larger than life feel. And when I was speaking to, who was it? It was Stephen Gallagher on another podcast, and we were talking about this. I called it hyper real because it's not surreal. It's sort of, maybe that's not a great term for it, but it's sort of enhancing instruments beyond what they would sound like naturally. And that's what you can do with, the technology that we have today, and layering and sampling. And I think that's part of hip hop and part of modern music as well. And that's the fun of it, is just trying to make it sound richer and bigger than, basically larger than life. And I think you've achieved that with those tracks, definitely.
Thanks. The tough part is the opposite. The album comes out and it's like, okay, now we have to perform this. Whoa, we got to make this really, this has to be really big when we play live. Mm-hmm. Because now we've created this picture of this being this massive sound. How do we take 4 people and deliver that?
Right.
That's tough.
Right. So what do you do to compensate then when you play live?
I hire good players. Yeah. Back in the 90s, I used to get involved with some really quirky things where I would use mixers and incorporate samples and incorporate processing and kind of mix on the fly. So it was almost like mixing an album in real time with the live group. It was at the time that drum and bass jungle music was really hot, and literally every person in the band would have a headphone, like a hearback system, and listen back. And then one time we even did a performance in New York City where we gave the audience headphones and mixers so they could mix their own mix. That was kind of cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this is really nerdy stuff.
No, that's so fun. It sounds so fun. That and the tea party gig.
Yeah, the tea party gig. I don't think we recorded that part, did we? Yeah.
We did.
But
we
yeah,
did.
we were
Did we not?
Oh, we did.
If we didn't,
I don't
then
think
please, actually, okay, please mention to the our listeners, because that sounds fun.
Yeah, just to clarify that I'm not part of the Tea Party.
He is. He's just.
Yes, I know. Yeah, no, we were talking about drinking tea versus coffee, and the fact that I play a traditional British afternoon tea is one of my gigs, just playing piano, and it's great. It's just a great way to learn about the culture, play some music, make people happy.
That's so fun, and I love the idea of the audience being able to mix what they're hearing.
I know there's groups like Snarky Puppy who have the audience listening on headphones. I don't think they get to mix their own mix. I don't know. Maybe they do. I've never been part of those sessions, but we're always trying to find ways to push music forward. Of course, there's artists out there doing incredible stuff with things such as Ableton Live, where they're mixing backing tracks in real time and kind of remixing on the spot, or they have a DJ kind of sampling and remixing. I never got that far with it. I tried to, but that's an art of its own, right? That's not a side hobby. That's not, you go out and cover the music type of thing. That's you're dedicating your life to that. And so the people that do that, huge respect for them. I'm dabbling in that just to see what's possible.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, you've got enough on your plate.
I do.
So anything else you'd like to add about Todd Urban and Urban Sounds?
No, go check out, my whole idea, my mother asked me once, she goes, "Are you an influencer?" And I go, yeah. And it was with that tone, "Are you an influencer?" And I was like, I guess to some people, I make the content I make really to just try to help people. So yeah, go check out some videos, shoot some messages over. Realize, if I had to leave people with anything, not for my sake, I've got pretty thick skin, but realize the people making content out there, they're humans. So respect them too. We're all very friendly. We all talk to each other. We all have our personalities.
Exactly, and we're all human, and we don't say anything online that you wouldn't say in person. Yeah,
but otherwise, go make music. It's
fun.
We've spent our time. Yeah, it is fun. Yeah,
brilliant. Well, thank you so much, and I'm going to, in the edit, if that's okay, I'll put your Broke Living Rich track on for everyone to hear.
That's actually perfect, because I'm building a studio from the ground up, and that's a real story of me right now.
Is it? Nice.
Unfortunately, yeah. It's I don't know what insane person would build a studio from the ground up in 2026, but I tried to take that on. So
okay, well, I don't know how you get time for all of this, because it sounds like pure lunacy that you're living in, but congratulations.
Cloning. Yeah, I clone myself.
Oh goodness. Well, that's we'll leave that for another podcast perhaps, but
yep.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Todd. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Great talking. Cheers. Thank you.
You would think I got a credit limit that don't exist. My attitude is building equity on 25 cents. Popping bottles, I'll be canning champagne on the food stamp. Got Jordans on, but can't pay my rent. $20 with $1 million strut and good looks. Ain't gotta Photoshop it up. Got peanut butter jelly on the plate for lunch, but the gram says that I'm on a yacht for brunch. You would think I got $1 million check. Posting pics with celebrities I met. Gold wrist in the city around my neck. Looking good, but it's all counterfeit. You would never catch me sloppy, even if you catch me getting groceries. My pockets stay empty. Oh, that reminds me, check the TD. Afterpay took my last $10. Damn, it took my last $10.